All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Card Talk. I'm Ryan, joined as always by Tyler and Lou. We've got a big episode today. We're going to talk basketball, we're going to talk Euros, live card shows, and we are back with the original play of the week. So we're going to get into that in a little bit, but want to start, Lou, I think I saw on your story.
Yes.
Made a couple plays in Philly this weekend at the show.
Yes. I don't know where to put these cards just now, but I did go to Philly this weekend because I was fiending hard because I missed Dallas last time. So, by the way, that drive, Ty, is like a sneaky far drive. It's like a
Philly.
It's a rock solid hour 45, and that's a little bit out of my range.
It felt aggressive, but you were seeing one of your boys down there, right?
Yeah, my boy came down and met us there, but like it was
an
more
aggressive Saturday drive.
Yeah, it was like 8 a.m. I'm going to get in the car. I'm going to hate myself. And then I'm there at 10:30, like 10 o'clock. You know what I mean? Anyway, so roamed around a little bit. I only ended up buying two things. And there was a lot of weird energy. Like
weird energy.
Tap in more.
A lot of weird energy of like, I don't know where this stuff's going. And this weird thing where people want to price their cards a little too high because they're not sure if they're going to sell too low. But then they're just above where the market is, so I'm not buying that kind of thing. So it was very, very interesting. A lot of chatter, a lot of people there. There was a lot of people in that Philly show and downstairs in the casino. A lot of tables, too. It's like a big show. I didn't realize how big of a show it was, but it was very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, the pricing strategy of shows is something that I've been spending a lot of thought on after Dallas. And
it's just hard to rational, like, and I thought about this last time I was in Dallas too. Like maybe I'm wrong because like as a person trying to buy cards, I would never in my life pay over eBay for a liquid card at a card show. Like I just wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So when people are listing their cards above eBay, like I just don't get it.
Well, there's a couple things to note, I guess you could say. One is the vendors, how long have they been in the hobby for? Because that's what I think we're seeing some of these cycles in terms of like profit taking. And yes, if you bought at what the price is now, you're not going to sell it for less, probably, especially if the majority of this stuff is. So then you have to price high and you're hoping for someone to just kind of walk in and do their thing. But some of the more, I would say, veteran, vendors or people that have been, in the game, they're also doing a lot of their deals online, whether it be, Instagram and connections that they have, or they have a proper business set up, a la someone like Ryan, and able to do volume of sales on eBay and aren't necessarily thinking, oh, well, I'm taking cash, so there's no tax. Like they're okay. Their business is set up and mature in that regard. So I think that's why you see a lot of, kind of quote unquote overpriced stuff at shows. And then we talk a lot about the value of just being there, but definitely it's hard to build the muscle of sales. And that is why people don't want to sell for less than something. And when you really boil it down to percentages and margins, you're talking sometimes about 5% that people aren't willing to, let go of a card over, and emotional attachments to cards, especially if you're, again, smaller and haven't been in it for as long. I get that it's hard, but at the same time, you got to understand maybe the market dynamics a little bit more, and spending a whole day going to Philly, pricing your cards at above eBay, to each his own, because when you're in ownership, you do whatever you want. But there's this, it's not easy to go in, sell at prices that someone else might have made 3% more online. And it's like, I don't want to sell then. Creates for a tough game.
Yeah, but I also think it teaches you something, right? We talk about that a lot, about the repetition of selling, right? I mean, I think the card shows are just really all around the best for the hobby. I mean, you can learn so much there, right? We talk about it all the time. I know Ty's big on the dollar soccer boxes and, finding those and grading them and getting those back, and, how that can teach you. But wheeling and dealing and creating connections with dealers and other people that are at the show. I went to a show in a little town called Xenia in Ohio. It was about an hour drive. And I spent about 4.5 hours at the show just going through like boxes, digging for stuff. And now, mind you, it was 92 degrees and there was no air conditioning. So when I tell you,
can I pause you for 1 second? The Xenia, Ohio card show sounds like my dream. There couldn't have been more than like 30 tables there.
There was like 140.
Shut the fuck up.
Things are lit right now, Lou.
Yeah.
People want cards.
I'm less interested in the Xenia show now. That's crazy. Keep going.
You wanted a small show.
Yeah, I love a small, overheated show. It's my favorite.
It was hot.
Oh,
it was like a cattle barn.
Oh,
in the middle of nowhere. Anyways, a lot of people, a lot of tables, but yeah, there's something to be said for a show. It's where I started really with a lot of my stuff was going to shows, digging through boxes, wheeling and dealing, making connections. I think you can learn a lot about how to make deals and how to really, interacting in the hobby at shows.
Yeah, I still say shows are the best places, but it's just interesting. Like it's just really interesting, like the selling strategy for a lot of people. And like I was saying to you guys before, it's like you also know who's going to have those numbers and who isn't. So I just stay away from those people that I think are going to be like that. But I did come away with 2 cards. I wanted to show them to you guys. Got the Hertz Optic Hollow 10, which I'm fired up about.
Give a little insight. Was that because I showed him some love on last episode?
No, you'll never in your life catch me buying anything because you told me to. So that's weird.
I love that. That is great.
But can you talk about what made you make a Hertz play and how it, in fact, had nothing to do with me lamenting about his potential last episode?
No, yeah, it definitely starts with that he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. So that was the main driver of that.
You're in Philly. Randomly plays in Philly.
No. I've always loved Optic. I think hollow optics are like super underrated because they're so hard to get graded highly. I would imagine this year especially they're going to be hard to grade highly just with everything else has been hard to grade. So I think it's like it's like pop 30 or something like that. I'm sure that's going to go up by the time all these PSA submissions start coming back, but pop 30 is still pretty low right now. And then I got an out of 49 Herbert Orange Select PSA 9. So I'm normally not a PSA 9 guy, but I figured it's an out of 49 card. It's pretty rare. It's Herbert. I wanted to get some more exposure to him. So I jumped in on that.
You're a big orange guy.
I do love orange. Shout out to the Astros, the best and most honorable team in baseball.
Orange is a good color.
Great color.
I respect it.
Thank you.
A little bit less than purple, but I respect it.
They're both great colors. I have nothing bad to say about purple.
So speaking of purple and orange, the Suns.
Oh, this guy's a professional.
This guy's recorded a couple podcasts.
This guy knows how to record.
We got to transition to a little segue into Michael Porter Jr. and the Nuggets getting the old broom. Ty, any immediate thoughts on your superstar?
There's real issues with Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, we're having issues back at the MPJ fan camp.
Yeah, the island. MPJ Island's getting
MPJ Island. Can we get that on there?
Oh my goodness, MPJ Island
not looking too good.
The shoreline is just being beaten up by the waves. It got late.
This has got to be the summer they fire Malone, right?
He's got to go, but
he's got to go. With Murray healthy, that team is talented.
I know, but they didn't get to play with Murray healthy. I mean, they were so overmatched.
The Suns are kind of a,
I hope they win.
Banger squad.
I hope they win.
The Suns are kind of a wagon, some would say. Like,
I hope they
real
win.
Talent.
Yeah, I mean, when Jay Crowder is like your fifth option, you got a real shot.
Yeah, and they've officially taken over the cool factor with that video of the guy being like Suns in 4 after beating the brakes off of some guy.
Yeah, I mean,
and D-Book being like, yo,
who had the top row? He beat him from down low.
D-Book's like, yo, where you at? Like, find that guy. That's coolness on a trillion.
The guy was on the top trying to get pummeled.
Yeah, well, he got pummeled too. That's what happens. And then Suns in 4.
Oh, Booker's the coolest. I said I wanted the purple. I might now want the orange. There's a light blue that's out there. seemingly at a decent price. The green is kind of
It's definitely he's definitely really cool. They're definitely really cool. Are we shaping up? We're shaping up for Suns Clippers, right? That's what we're heading towards. Is that fair to say?
No.
Okay.
No, brother.
What's the issue?
They're 2-1?
So what, 2-1? That's it? The series is over?
The series?
Okay. I thought we were like not. I thought we were back with the Clippers.
I mean,
like
you know,
my pick
from last week, we could talk about what happens when we get ahead of ourselves. We said the Nets are going to win it all, and they're dead. It was 2-0.
I didn't think anyone anticipated the Nets' entire team going down except for KD.
I might have made a comment that they have to stay healthy.
Okay, we're not giving you credit for saying they have to stay healthy. Let's settle down.
Especially because you never said MPJ needs to stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's had a broken back for a decade, but like
a decade.
Listen.
Okay, so I might have gotten ahead of myself on the Clippers thing, but either way, I think the Suns are probably going to the final. I was getting toward the Suns are going to the finals.
I like the Suns in the finals.
Okay.
Wow,
like
that was
Suns Jazz.
And then the Suns Hawks finals.
I mean, Trae Young, a hobby darling, a true hobby darling, playing games that matter. Yeah.
If they win tonight,
if MPJ had an ounce of his energy.
I mean, the other thing is that people are going to hear this in 2 days, and both of these series are going to be fully decided, and it's going to be like
there's 2 good ones tonight,
early.
Right?
We're recording this a little early.
Yeah, we're recording Monday afternoon. Yeah, today is
14th.
Yeah,
Clippers.
Today's the 14th. The more you know. Yeah, Clippers Jazz tonight, and then tomorrow
and Hawks Sixers.
And Hawks Sixers. Yeah, and Hawks Sixers too.
Do the Nets have any shot without Kyrie or Harden?
Kevin Durant.
He's a good player, but do they have any shot, the Nets, against that team as just KD versus squad? I mean, they got a bunch of, like,
the thing is,
especially if Danny Green's out.
Has-beens.
They got a bunch of bums on that squad.
Has-beens.
So here's what's weird. They already ruled out, again, this is Monday afternoon. They've ruled out Kyrie for tomorrow already, and they won't
already out?
Yeah, out.
High ankle sprain.
Yeah, he's done.
Good.
He's probably done for the playoffs.
Wow.
Yeah. High ankle sprain's a problem. So, but they haven't said anything about Harden. So in theory, Harden's playing tomorrow.
Interesting.
It's very, very interesting.
KD Chromes are an uncomfortable price, aka I'm looking to acquire a couple at the moment, no matter what happens. Second, Steph Curry and Harden both are as well. But I don't see a world where if they go down 3-2, Harden doesn't try to play, right? Feels like
he really should play
right there.
I don't like doing this, but he really should play tomorrow.
He should. So the Sun, I mean, Devin Booker. What's up?
Go ahead.
Nope. I was just gonna say, taking it over to cards a little bit.
You're talking about that Booker Suns, that series. What about the Jokic MVP pick? We're just gonna glaze right over that, or
I mean, if you call like posting about it 7 times in the past week, every other text message being about how like
Ty, Lou and I, no matter if we post it every day for each of us for the next month, we'd still be behind on the Tyler propaganda.
That's true, but for you to be like, "Oh, no one's giving me any credit for Jokic,"
we threw it at 137 main.
Like, what about it? I mean, like out of left field.
Jokic was talking about it on SportsCenter the other day. That's how much
it was like 3,000 to 1 odds or something crazy.
Yeah, well, it was a really good pick, but he has since gotten demolished, and it's over.
And with that stupid slap foul,
that was dumb. That was dumb. I saw a clip.
That was the I'm ready for vacation. That's the I'm ready for vacation. Get me out of here.
I know.
At least he got a foul and got out. LeBron just decided to walk out.
Yeah, they're both really good moves, but it was definitely a weak foul, Ty.
They're both really good.
Yeah, it was a weak foul. I agree.
All right, Tom, what are you saying about Suns?
No, I was just saying one card, one individual's main staple card that you can pick up who's left in the playoffs right now. Who are you taking? Go.
Probably Booker. Because if I'm saying to myself Booker's going to the finals, I'm buying Booker's. Right?
Pops are tasty on Booker's too.
Like, what's a Booker right now? This is not a recommendation in any form or fashion because I hate that. But I mean, the last Booker did 860, boys. Like, talk to me.
I don't disagree.
No, I'm not buying basketball.
You're not playing basketball.
Wow.
No, I'm not buying it. I'm not spending money. No way. Not right now.
Would you rather have a Devin Booker silver 10 or a KD chrome? They are the same price.
Patrick Mahomes patch auto.
Well, that's not $4,000.
I respect it.
The basketball more. I just don't like basketball. Has not had an offseason.
I couldn't agree more.
Basketball hasn't had an offseason. There's a reason the basketball market is so low. Like, if you don't guess 100% right, their stuff's gonna dip. And even if they do win, you're gonna get some sort of like it's built into the price anyways. It's not gonna like run up 50%. If Donovan Mitchell wins finals, like the finals, and the Jazz win, Mitchell's stuff's not gonna jump 5x.
When did the playoffs start?
The worst thing for basketball would be if the Jazz win the finals.
May. Lou, we were in Dallas.
So like
no, we were in Dallas. You were at a wedding.
I understand. Yeah. I understand. So the perfect scenario for like what you want out of a playoff performance is what you're getting from Trae, right? Is that fair to say? That's like an ideal situation. That card's his base Prizm 10 is down 32% in that time frame in the last month. Now,
there's a lot of factors here. I think population of Trae comparatively to population of Booker.
Okay, his silver's up 5%.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think there's still some upside in cards from that argument, Lou, that it shows that some of these guys are players and can win big games. Like Giannis going to the finals would be big for Giannis stuff. Like not necessarily that it's going to go up 30% now, but
that's like, what I'm saying. I don't think that's player.
True. I was going to say I would probably take a Giannis. If
Giannis or Booker,
they
probably
beat
the
this
two
Nets
easy
team,
ones.
The thing about Booker versus Giannis, though, is Giannis has back-to-back MVPs that some pundits in the hobby that are on a show with two other guys that they talk about cards just doesn't think that the MVPs are meaningful. Like they don't mean anything.
Were you talking about me?
I might have been referencing you. I might be referencing you.
Clearly, everyone agrees if the price is down. Like, what is that argument?
The second you layer a chip over that, Booker, a chip, okay, then you got the Chris Paul comments. You got a lot of other stuff. Giannis wins this ring, like all of a sudden,
solidifies.
You were talking, he might not be a Hall of Famer on one episode.
He's been in the league for 5 minutes, but whatever, that's irrelevant. Everyone's in the Hall of Fame, so it doesn't matter.
So I do think Giannis
Ben Wallace
winning
in the Hall of Fame.
Ben Wallace deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Tracy McGrady is the Hall of Fame.
What about like? I think the only guys who have a chance to go ballistic is like if Giannis wins the finals, you're 100% right. But if imagine if the Suns win the finals, like Booker is out of here.
Yeah, he also just really went with the cool factor like crazy.
Yeah, he's the coolest person alive.
Yeah.
If they win the finals, anyway.
Yep.
All right, Ty. So let's move on. I figure we'll get an update from the Euros, the soccer expert of the show. What's been going on there?
To call it the Euros. Or is there a better term that we're supposed to use?
Euro Cup.
Okay, Euro Cup.
2020.
We'll go with that. Let me check.
2021.
You gotta be careful. It's the Euro Cup 2020, though. They kept it. They stuck with it.
Okay. They really are so stupid.
It's the Euro Cup 2020.
That's so dumb. Keep going.
Hold the phone.
Tyler has issues.
Yeah, I had a quick issue. Okay. So, well, as a Danish supporter, it was a tough start to the Euros. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, let's pretend you're talking to two guys who have not watched a single second.
Okay, did you hear about the stud player that dropped?
Yeah,
on the field?
Yeah.
Yep. That was like
that was the Euros. That's like
that was the Euros.
Okay.
Yeah, that was in the Euros. Denmark.
That was a friendly.
Dark horse comes in playing against Finland, so I don't know what much to talk about other than that. I'm loving them. They're on 3 times a day right now, and it's the greatest sport known to man.
So Ty, with someone that knows nothing about this tournament, how this works.
Yeah.
Is it like similar to like World Cup where you play everybody in your group
round
once?
robin group, and then the top 2 of the group advance into knockout stage. they expanded it a little bit. So actually now there's 3 third-place teams from each side, I believe, that go forward, which, Lou, we were texting, you weren't liking that too much. Market-wise, obviously the England team is very pay attention to, loaded with studs, loaded with big names from the Premier League. Spain, they just drew to Sweden, got some studs on there. But yeah, it's just another kind of pushing the game forward. There's definitely been a lot of chatter in the hobby about it.
Who's gonna
I don't
win?
know if you have any specific questions you would like to ask me.
Who's gonna win?
Who's going to win? France.
Like
Any
100%?
major upsets?
Denmark is probably one of the bigger upsets so far. They lost 1-0. They definitely should have won that game.
What about England?
England won.
They're like they're
out.
in the mix as well, right?
Yeah, they're second or third favorite to win it, but they kind of have a history of just
choking bit?
when it matters. Yep.
Got it.
And
so France, you said, is your favorite to win?
France is my favorite to win, but they're the odds-on favorite to win.
Does that help Mbappe stuff to have that and the World Cup?
Yep. Yeah, it matters. It's definitely a tournament that matters. They play tomorrow against Germany. Tomorrow.
Oh, that's a pretty decent
comes out on Tuesday.
Right?
They play on Tuesday. This comes out on Wednesday, so it'll be the day before.
So their game will drop before Card Talk goes live?
Yep.
So can you predict the outcome of that game so we could use it on the podcast?
France, Germany?
Yeah.
Outcome?
Yeah, like tell us what happened.
2-2.
Okay.
Draw.
Wow.
2-2 draw.
What a matchup.
Yeah. It's the thing is they're jockeying kind of for position. They're in the group of death, quote unquote, but 3 teams get to go through. Obviously, first match, you kind of want to just get some points. Same way they do it. 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, no points for a loss, goal differential. So they're not trying to really, they'd rather draw than lose, I'd imagine, in that match. I see 2-2. Yeah.
Do they have like a golden boot for this type of tournament too?
They do. Golden boot.
Be careful,
best
right?
keeper. Yep. Oh.
Be careful. I know my soccer.
You gonna throw a prediction out?
No, definitely
not. No.
Harry Kane's like a classic. Mbappe is a classic play for that.
Isn't there a guy?
I think Rashford took a hit in his overall. He didn't start for England in their opening game.
Yeah,
and I think that if you're going to be a guy in any hobby of anything, doing anything, like when it matters most, you can't really be on the bench.
So what about Pulisic not starting in the
what do you mean?
Champions League?
So fair question. I would explain this a bit differently in the sense of Pulisic isn't a guy, but he's the Americans guy.
So you're saying Pulisic's never going to be a top 5 player in the world?
No chance.
I'm not saying there was a chance.
Yeah, it won't even sniff it. There's 5 dudes that are younger than him that are better than him in the world.
Got it.
But there may never be an American that comes along at a time of growth in the sport and off the back of America missing the World Cup to lead a generation of young talent.
I'm with that. I think there was a little bit of false advertising on Pulisic then for the last couple of years. I was under the impression by maybe someone on this podcast, if we're not naming names, but like I was under the impression that Pulisic was like the
stud.
Second coming of Ryan. Am I wrong?
Of what? Keep on.
Yeah, it's always been made it sound like from soccer guys that like
it always sounded
like be a top 5 guy.
Like Pulisic's like the GOAT.
No, he's like a guy that matters.
Right. That's a bad job by the soccer guys to talk about
the gap between him and the previous guy for the US is like
talking about like Dempsey.
Like we're talking about like, okay, think about this.
This bag of garbage smells less bad than the other bag of garbage.
Okay.
Like,
I'm trying to think of like Pau Gasol. Spaniard, right?
It's just not helping your argument.
This is bad.
Why? If you're in Spain, like you're like Pau's the guy.
Right, but you made it sound, you and all the other soccer guys made it sound like Pulisic was like this amazing guy.
He is amazing. Do you understand what it means to like be where he's at?
Don't.
As an American dude?
Do you understand why I react the way I do to this conversation or no?
Not necessarily. Like, not really.
Yeah, there's like a clear misunderstanding.
Like American consumerism is part and partial why this hobby is what it is.
I understand.
So for an American to be in the mix in a game that America sucks at is why everyone glorifies him to no end. And he is that good. But will he ever be a top 5 player in the world? Won't even sniff it.
Understood. I think where we're misunderstanding each other is I took the way that you and other soccer guys were talking about Pulisic, like he was going to be not a top 5 player in the world.
We need that clip of like Stephen A. Smith. We've been lied to. We've been bamboozled.
Am I wrong here? Like I feel like I'm crazy. Like it sounds like Pulisic's pretty good, but he's not that good. But the way you talked about him was like he was like
in the grand scheme of things, bad. In the U.S.,
yeah, in the grand scheme of things, he's not bad. In the
yeah, you try to compare my guy to Pau Gasol.
Hall of Famer with multiple rings.
Again, Ben Wallace. Keep going.
Yeah, also an amazing player.
Pau's a great guy. I have nothing but good things to say about Pau Gasol.
I'm confused. I think you guys
no, I think
weren't paying
you're
attention.
definitely confused.
No. It'd be like, if you're like small town, high school, guy makes the G League and like everyone's pumped about it, cool. But then he's like,
I get it now, but that's not how it was presented before.
It was always presented that way. You're definitely just not educated enough on the sport. If you hit me with some F1 shit, I'd know what you're talking about.
Right.
I hit you with some soccer stuff, you'll know what we're talking about.
Everyone listening to the podcast right now, what was your feeling on Pulisic?
Especially if you knew nothing about soccer,
correct.
Tweet us or message us on IG. I would love to know the listeners.
You think he was a top 5 player in the sport?
Talked about him like he was the best player in the world.
So question of the week for all the listeners.
Best American in the world.
If you've listened to this podcast at least 5 times ever, from the conversations we've had on this show, did you get the impression that
and
Pulisic
it's not just
is
Tyler,
a top 5 guy in the world? Did you get that impression from this podcast?
I don't want it to be like Tyler told me that Pulisic was a top 5 player in the world and now he's not, so I'm mad at Tyler. I'm more globally mad at like the United States soccer machine.
Well, how about if you realize that much enthusiasm they have for a guy that's what he is, showing what it could be if we had a guy that was top 5 in the world? How about that for an argument for the growth of the game? People are that pumped just to be sniffing, just to be scratching.
I think we should move on because you have.
Speaking of people we had higher expectations of.
Speaking of purple and orange,
how did Jay Hill do this weekend?
Okay, settle down.
Jay Hill, loose guy.
I wanted to say last week on the show there was a little conversation about a play of the week with a UFC guy that it was a white sparkle UFC card. The guy was he was on the card that night. He was the first fight on the main card. He got his arm ripped off, which is unfortunate. But like, I thought it was a good play at the time. I stand by. I think he was a good play at the time. It didn't work out, but that was a good job.
He literally is walking around with one arm.
And
you're on this show saying like he's going to be the next freaking Conor McGregor.
Look, now you're changing it. Now you're lashing out, and that's okay.
You're lashing.
But I never said Jay Hill was the second coming, like you did about soccer players.
It's called proper football, Lou.
So,
yeah, right. Euro Cup 2021.
Lou, I don't know much about UFC, so I'm more curious. Like, a guy that loses like that, gets hurt, right? Isn't in the main card. Does he get like the opportunity to fight again? Like, how does that work? Like, I don't assume he gets like
so UFC is so UFC is like very much a dictatorship, and like Dana White makes the fights, and like if he decides that there's a good matchup, then he'll make it. There's not necessarily like a demotion. You can get your contract and then they cannot re-sign you, right? I don't know his contract situation, but like assuming his arm is okay and they find a good fight for him, he'll get another fight. It might not be on the main card of a big pay-per-view, but he'll get another fight.
So before we move on, I think we should point out it's officially 6 weeks today until we'll be at the National.
Wow. Today's Tuesday. You're right.
Monday.
Today's Monday. You're right.
6 weeks. Less than 50 days.
What are we doing?
We got to figure that out.
We'll figure it out.
Live from the National.
We'll figure it out.
Can't wait to say that 6 weeks from now. All right, let's get into play of the week. We're bringing it back, old school, original play of the week. But before we do, As always, Play of the Week is brought to you by eBay, your number one stop for all things cards and collectibles. So if you're new here, Play of the Week, when we first started this, Jay, the producer, took submissions from the listeners, and Lou, Tyler, and I would see them live on this show. It's not something we would ever see beforehand. So we'll look at them together one by one, discuss them, and then pick a winner. All right, so this first one is going to be from Suds Cards on Instagram. It says, gotta play for y'all. Bought this Booker rookie lot of 6 base and 5 infinite revolution. Sold all but 1 infinite at the Philly card show a week later for $625.
Nice. What is infinite revolution? What is that?
Typically just like I believe it's just a parallel in the set.
In
like
Revolution.
Like Fractal or Astro or one of the other parallels.
So he got it June 7th and he sold it June 10th. That's a good job.
I think half the plays on here are people that are getting these like 3 days, which I don't seem to have much luck with. We'd love to meet some of these sellers they're willing and dealing with. Yeah,
this is like the perfect scenario for buying a card, get it in time, and like I've never flipped anything in under a week, I don't think.
Yeah, so I mean it's not a bad play. I mean, a June just yesterday, Booker Infinite Base Rookie sold for 81 shipped. He got 5 of them in the lot. That's 400 alone. He only paid 280 for the lot. So something about buying in bulk and piecing it out and willing to do the work, you can make something on it. Yeah, not big on the hey, I sold it in Philly thing. Could have sold it for $425. We don't know that. Typically buy it on eBay, sell it on eBay, but if you got it, you got it, and especially if you got to keep one. Kai, any thoughts?
Are Booker Revolution just like on fire? They're selling for 800 now, you said?
No, the last one raw did 81 shipped.
Right.
So he got 5 of them in this lot. That would be 400.
Got it.
Plus the base.
I like the play. Paid, shipped, delivered. Takes to Philly. Booker's hot. Selling raw. I'm just excited to see the development of raw once PSA pops back open. I like the play. And this guy's obviously a Suns fan based on Steve Nash with the busted eye in his profile. So all around, respectable play.
Yeah, I like
investor lot. The old investor lot of 11.
Classic investor lot.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, next one. All right, so the second one is from Harris Decker. It says this one is more of a percentage play than an overall money play, but I've been milking this one and still am. Over the last year, I've been picking up Jacob deGrom rookies from all brands and making money in them, but my favorite play are the Donruss the rookies. I've been picking them up for about $2. See the screenshots. Later on, I had to go up to about $6 a piece. See the second screenshot. During deGrom's big run, I was selling them consistently for $25 to $60 a piece. I can figure out my actual profit percentage, but this one seemed like a slam dunk.
Wow. Good for him.
So it says he bought 10 of them on, I believe that's like, I forget the name of it, but something with like lots, sports card lots or something, card lots or something. He bought 10 of them for $59.50. He bought, did he sell to him for $50? Is that right?
Yeah, so it's $25 each.
Yep. Yeah, and they just sold another single one for $25. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a great job. 10 for, yeah.
He's like arguably one of the best ever, right?
He's on an incredible run right now. Yeah. He just isn't giving up any runs. And
didn't he win Cy Young last year?
He's I think he did. He's really, I can't remember. He's insanely good. The Mets just never give any runs for it. That's like the meme. Like he'll go out and pitch like 8 innings, 1 earned, and lose 1-0. Like that's a common occurrence.
Does he put Gook on the ball?
I don't know. It's not for me to say.
Has the internet proclaimed whether he gooks or not? And I ask because I feel like he's an anti-gooker and still balling.
I don't know. I know that he is not the focal point of any conversations. Maybe a former Astro.
Unlike the guy that's on the Yankees.
Yeah. Maybe someone's on the Dodgers too. It's weird how that happens.
Well, the Dodgers are like the center of all cheating in sports, right?
Dodgers are pure. Yankees are pure. Only the Astros are bad.
I mean, look, Lou, just because you guys got
Lou,
caught
you're lashing
red-handed
out here.
and the rest of the boys
I'm
got
not
off,
lashing out.
like maybe you shouldn't have won then. Maybe you shouldn't have won. Maybe you shouldn't have won the ring.
Sorry, we're the best cheaters.
Great. All right, cool. At least you can accept that you're one of the best cheaters. But hold on, before we go on, I think about this a lot. And Rye, I like hey, I'm going in on DeGrom and I'm just going to pick up all products, sit on them, make that kind of make that more or less bet on his market going forward. Has that proven fruitful for you? Because a lot of our conversations, we don't talk too much on the show of a guy and then go through all the cards he has. We kind of are like specific card product guy. I obviously it's done well for Harris, and he realized that DeGrom might be an all-time anti-Gook pitcher, and it's paid off for him. I'd like to just hear from you when you think about buying lots and all that.
Yeah, so I think with this one, it takes, research to spend this, he clearly did his homework with going in here and finding a parallel like this that he believed in, and then he bought 10 of them, right? We always talk about this. If you believe in something enough, buying 2 or 3, not 1, and it gives you a little bit of flexibility where you can sell one later and have nothing in the rest. So I like that play on it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's great, right? I always look for, like with DeGrom, Lou, what's his best one? Like Bowman first, Topps Chrome, something like that?
I don't know, but I would wager that, yeah.
Right, like you would assume it's something like that, like it's a bigger one. So to be able to find something like obscure like this, I think takes it.
Yeah, it's funny. I wonder what it is about that card.
Yeah, like is it just DeGrom stuff in general is up 5x, or is it that card? Right, like I remember when I was buying Darnold stuff, like I was looking for like the immaculate autos. They're from an expensive product. They're on card. They're at a 99. Like that to me was a value compared to National Treasures, which is from similarly an expensive product, also a patch auto, also on card, also out of 99, but worth 5 or 10x what the immaculate was, right? So doing that homework and trying to find, obscurity in the market. So if the guy you believe in does well, while you may not make as much, you didn't have the risk you did that somebody with the Chrome or the Prizm might have had. So I think it's a cheap but fun risk if you're willing to put in the work.
Love it.
So, all right. Next one is from Stacking Slabs 21. This is play of the week. Took Ryan's advice at the Dallas Card Show and was going through $5 boxes and found this Ohtani at a 50. Just sold it for $140, 18x return.
That's a good job.
That's pretty good. Now, serious question. You guys can see the picture from here, and if you're not watching this on YouTube, if you're listening, Lou and Tyler, does this picture you can see right here, if you were a seller at the show, is there any way you could have mistaken this for just a hollow?
Yeah, for sure. 1000%.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought you were asking if there was something wrong with the card. Yeah, no, definitely.
What I wonder is, did a seller think he just had an optic hollow of Ohtani and be like, cool, no license, not my thing, $5.
Yeah.
And or were they going through it late at night and it just kind of was in between 2 other cards and
didn't look anything crazy?
And or when they put that box together, was Ohtani coming off of Tommy John or whatever he got and an afterthought, and they're not that into baseball and just kind of put it in there thinking it might, I'll sell for 5. I know I could get 20 for it on eBay, but I don't need to put that energy into it right now. And then boom, he explodes. That's possible too.
Right. What's your biggest ever like $5 find that sold for whatever? Do you have one off the top of your head? Because 18x is really good.
I found a Julian Edelman mosaic out of 20 out of 5, sold for over $240.
And you bought it for $5?
Yeah, I bought it for $5.
That's awesome.
That was pretty good.
That's a good one.
That's one of the ones that comes to mind because that's recent. But found so I have a video dropping tonight on YouTube from my pickups from the Xenia show. Found a stack of 17 jerseys and autos. A guy had it $1 a piece. And 8 cards back was a Jordan Love auto from Phoenix out of 25 that had a scratch across the front. Yeah, $1 a piece. They weren't even in top loaders. So it's got a little damage on it, so that'll probably sell for $65-$75.
Still.
But yeah, it takes, I mean, you get lucky every now and then. Most of the time you're hoping from 5 to 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my first thought with this is like, I see this card and I'm just like, if you're flipping through stuff really quick, just trying to like, it's a $5 box. A lot of sellers aren't spending a ton of time on that. You might just like think it's just a hollow, flip through it. So good find. Love it. You can find good deals in those boxes.
I love this play. It's a serious play.
All right. So this is from Sports Card Entrepreneur. It says, I bought a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Topps Chrome Green Refractor PSA 10 on Facebook in December for $200, and I sold it this week for $1,700. Lou, first in the league to 20 home runs.
Yes,
he's a beast right now, right? He's
hitting absolute. I don't know if I can use the word on the show, but
I feel like Trae. Right, to your point, when you said I'm not buying basketball right now, they haven't had an off season in that long. I feel like Trae and Vlad are similar right now, and the NBA needs a damn offseason because Vlad was freaking king of the prospects. And then when he came up, had that pop, had that hobby love like I feel Trae had. Then he needed to lose a little weight off season. People forgot about him, went off the radar a little bit, and now boom, he's back, and the market has reacted to it. And I feel like we should be feeling that with Trae right now because he is so like hitting what everyone thought he might, even over indexing at this time. Yeah, and it's just not doing anything.
Yeah, but it's pretty clear. Like everyone sees the break. Like that's obvious at this point. To me, I think the other side of that is like, I'm surprised that this card is only $1,700. I'm surprised by that. Like if you're making the comparison of the Trae thing, which I don't disagree with, this card should cost more, which speaks more to baseball is just not that popular, unfortunately.
I mean, he bought it for $200 in December.
Yeah, it's a great buy. It's a phenomenal buy.
6-month, $1,500 play.
200 goods. How much for the Vlad Green? 200 goods, non-true gems being 160. Wait. Yeah. Non-true gems meaning PSA 9s?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's probably right. Because if PSA 9 is 160, that means the PSA 10 is probably 250 at the time. So he's getting it for 80% at eBay.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
It's probably reasonable math.
Yeah, I think between this dude hitting bombs, Tatis is on like a historic stretch. It's like actually outrageous how good he is. For what, Lou? Like his 162 game stats are like insane. Hang on, let me pull them up while we're talking. But it's just these 3 guys are like 4 guys really are just so good.
Acuna, Vlad, Tatis, Ohtani.
Acuna, Vlad, Tatis, yeah. Acuna, Vlad, Tatis, yeah.
Something that if you're listening to this, an exercise that I did the other night, which was a blast, is the classic eBay PSA 10 sold listings.
The original Tyler search.
Wait, let me give you a quick Tatis stat update just so you guys have before we move on. I don't want to lose it. In his last 162 games played, Fernando Tatis Jr. has 51 home runs, 33 steals, 138 runs, and 127 RBIs. It's outrageous numbers. Outrageous numbers.
And he's playing for a top tier team, right?
Yeah, they're really good.
What I was going to say is you go to PSA 10 on eBay, search sold listings. It is shocking. One, the amount of cards, PSA 10s that overwhelming majority are under $100. PSA 10s that sell on eBay. Now, to get a PSA 10, you got to pay $300 minimum at this current moment, which goes to show a little bit of kind of, I think maybe certain things we're seeing price wise, and even like Trays, why they're there. But then baseball as well. It's just still very much dominated overall numbers in this hobby of what the cards are. Most sales are baseball cards.
Yeah, baseball has a very active audience.
Hobby
with
audience. Regards to cards.
Yeah. It's like the thing. Like people say baseball cards, I mean everything else. Like it's a real thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jay, is there any more? All right, so this is from the Yeston. It says recent play submission. Bought a 2015 Topps Archives Will Ferrell card in October for $53, excluding eBay fees. Sold last week, June 9th for $150. Since everyone's trying to have a unique obscure card in their collection, I thought this was a good time to sell one of my obscure cards. Will Ferrell has a variety of cards from the 2015 Topps Heritage release, picturing him in a number of different MLB uniforms.
Oh, this is like Will Ferrell, like the comedian.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay.
So this I remember when this happened, he was going to these stadiums and getting in these different uniforms and doing this. And they were collected at the time. It was pretty popular. You could get autographs. Like this had a moment at the time.
Was he marketing like a movie? I was trying to remember what he was doing.
That I don't remember. It was 6 years
I
ago.
remember that thing where he was going to all different stadiums. I didn't know Topps. That's funny.
Yeah, I remember that. So, I mean, definitely right on, like, and I love the whole cash out thing too. Like, everybody seems to be buying a unique thing. So, made time for me to sell one of mine. So, I like
listen, no one loves the weird stuff more than the show, but 3X on a Will Ferrell, that's all day.
Yeah, that's
all day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good stance he's in a little bit.
He's in position. He's ready to make a play.
Yeah.
So, I think that is it for this one. So that is it. I've got mine, but Ty, Lou, I'll let you guys go first. Which one? So you got the Booker play this week, and you've got the DeGrom, you got the Ohtani, Guerrero, or the Will Ferrell.
There's a good one. There's a lot of good options.
Yeah. I mean, I'm between Ohtani and Vlad. One, you've got what looks like grinding. IG found it on Facebook, you said, right? On Facebook in December. I mean, that's a flip. I wonder where he was baseball December off season. Going to the off season was kind of like for him, and then boom, I think he put in the work. So I respect that. And the Ohtani, go to the Ohtani. Ohtani of 50. $5 at the Dallas Card Show. Not even that long ago. You guys got thoughts? I think I know where I'm at.
Ohtani, yeah, for sure. Right, the going to the show, making a trip, spending the time to not look. Right. I always talk about like there are deals in these boxes. I always believe that they get less attention than the showcases because the showcases are where the bigger and more expensive cards are that are also more volatile. There are good deals in those boxes, right? Like. If somebody brings a $5 box, that's a 4-row, a $2 box, that's a 4-row, a $1 box, a $10 box, a 25 and up, like that's a lot of time and effort to check all of those cards and price them all. I'm in this play. I think it's great, right? It's spending the time going through there, finding a card, and then the process of selling it. We talk about that a lot, right? It's not, hey, I bought this card for $5. It's worth $140. It's actually selling it, actually completing it, and so on and so forth. So I like that. So Tawny's my winner.
Ty?
I agree. I was back and forth, but if we don't, I feel like this is the most true to Card Talk play for everything you just listed. Down in Dallas, bing, bang, boom. Slight knock on it not being last week. In the last week, it's a May 27 sale. But, slip by Jay's radar. It's a classic. Jay slip up. But I got to go Ohtani. For sure.
Yeah, I was between Ohtani and Vlad as well. I'm going to go with Ohtani. Give him the sweep.
So 3 for 3. That's pretty good. So stacking slabs 21 with the win there. Congrats on that. Congrats on the find. Congrats on the flip. So that is great. But before we get out of this, gotta say shout out to everybody who submitted a play this week back to the original play of the week format. We love this one. This is probably I think it's the best one we do, where y'all submit your plays. We get to pick through them without seeing them ahead of time. So shout out to everybody who made a play this week, and shout out to Stacking Slabs 21 for the win. But again, that is all we got for play of the week. which is brought to you by eBay, your number one stop for all things cards and collectibles. All right, last little topic for this week, Lou, is going to be this week's releases, little latest launch.
What do we got?
I'm going to pull it up.
Feels like a light week.
There's no football this week. I know that because I checked this morning, but I thought there was something on here that you might like. We got Impeccable Basketball. That's a big one. That's an expensive product. Little Game of Thrones Iron Anniversary Series 1. Chronicles H2 Soccer. Sage Hit High Series Football. I'm mistaken. And then we've got some Pokemon V Strikers 10 and Yu-Gi-Oh! Egyptian God Deck. And then, oh, wait. A new Pokemon, Chilling Reign.
I've heard about Chilling Reign.
So Chilling Reign is coming out.
It's exciting. What's on the horizon release-wise for football?
Optic base. Oh, for football?
In general. I said football because it's the thing that's coming up.
Yeah, so football will be really popular for a while. You're going to get Stadium Club Baseball, which I love because it's one of the best photos in the game. You'll get Select Baseball. You'll get Noir Basketball. Goodwin Champions is intriguing. Mosaic Euro Soccer. That's all before the end of June. And then early July, you have Chronicles Draft Picks Collegiate Football, Finest Champions League Soccer, Gypsy Queen Baseball, Luminance Football, Chronicles Racing, National Treasures Basketball, right before the National, July 14th.
I feel like it might be kind of slow for that product.
For what?
NT Basketball.
Like slower release, or like you don't think it'll do well?
I don't think it'll be as hot as it's been.
It's definitely down. All basketball is down compared to what it was for Zion because there's not Zion.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's being pre-sold online for about $3,700 a box.
That's pretty low, I feel like.
So I think one to point out here would be 7/16. So July 16th is Elite Football. That's typically the first product of the year with any NFL jerseys in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either the Pen Pals or the Turn of the Century. So July 16th is currently the scheduled release date for the first product of the year with pro jerseys.
So, the more you know.
And then it's national time.
And then it's national time, baby. Lock it in.
We're coming. I can't wait. That'll be a blast. All right. I think that's all we got for this one.
Yeah.
Heck of an episode. That's all I got, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.
See ya.